before she even gets your penis inside of her, what does that make you like? What's that like in her eyes?
You've basically blown out every other man she's ever been with.
Yeah. Unless she's lucky to get with someone like me, or Shade, or, and there's guys like us out there. They're just really, really rare. So when the average girl, or hell, even the super hot babes, you get a woman that lit up, that quickly, that completely, she can't wait to come back.
And there are guys out there, like boyfriends and husbands, who've been with women for God knows how many years, 10, 15 years, and they've never made them experience something like what David's going to be teaching you guys, because, their model of how to stimulate her has no frame of reference. Like, they may explore, they may experiment, stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they've ever blown her mind.
That's true.
And what David's going to be talking about here is going to be how to blow a woman's mind.
I can't tell you the looks I get. By the way, I'm also, in the book when it comes out, I'm going to teach you the one orgasm women can't fake.
And that's a pretty messy one.
That's a pretty messy one.
That's how you know they can't fake it.
As Thundercat has seen the remnants of...
No, I got to be modest. Okay, well, we're going to bit off time. Let's go back. Okay, your fingering technique with the clitoris, or you can also use it with your mouth.
Yeah. Basically, it's not really a fingering technique per se. What it is, and again, a lot of what I do is about paying attention to how she's responding. If you can learn to pay attention to how she responds, you can write your own ticket, because she's going to tell you. She's going to tell you in her responses, in her expressions, exactly what you need to be doing to get her off in the way that's the most powerful for her.
So, in other words, pay attention.
Pay fucking attention. But basically, the way this technique works is when you're getting ready to go down on her, what I do is I'll take either one, depending on how small she is, or two fingers, and I'll insert them in the vagina, and I'll let my fingers contour the roof of her vagina so that I can feel where her G-spot is, I feel where her deep spot is.
What's the G-spot feel like?
The G-spot is a rough patch of skin that's just on the inside of the vagina. If you actually slide your fingers up and in, you'll feel a little rough patch of skin in there. I'm sure you felt that. Mm-hmm. Okay? What'll happen is it's very sensitive to pressures. What'll happen is as she gets more and more aroused, as she has more and more orgasms, that area will start to swell. Okay? That comes to the squirting orgasm, which we'll talk to maybe a bit later. But at this point in time, we're not going for the squirt. In my opinion, you never go for the squirting orgasm first. You're going to be there a long fucking time, and your arm's going to get really fucking tired. So one of the things that you want to focus on is getting her off the requisite 2 to 3 times. With women, it's all about the O.
And plus, a lot of guys, they tend to climax really quickly. Yes. And so if that should happen, if there are guys who, like, just the sight of a naked girl makes them kind of mess their pants, these are tactics that they can use to take time to recover. So, you're not in an American Pie type situation, and get the girl going. So you got your fingers in her, you're contouring the upper roof of her vagina, feeling out her G-spot.
Right. Now, the next thing you want to do is, if you're going for, let's say you're going for oral, for example, is you want to start to gently lick the clit. Now, what's going to be interesting here, I'm going to give you some things that are going to seem kind of counterintuitive. But if you do them, you got a greater chance of getting her off the first time out. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to find the clit. Now, depending on where you're at in her state of arousal, the clit may be very easy to find, or it may be small, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to start to use your tongue, use your lips to excite the clitoris. Now, you can do this any number of ways. You can use the patented Karate Kid paint the fence mode, where you go up and down and up and down. Okay, you can do the it's the circular method. You can, if you're really talented, you can lick the Hebrew alphabet, okay, or the Chinese alphabet. Regardless of what approach you're going to use, what you're going to pay attention to, every so often, there's going to be a stroke that really gets to her. There's going to be a direction or an angle or a pressure or a combination that's really going to stimulate her. When it does, what you're going to feel, if you're paying attention, the vaginal muscles will involuntarily contract. This is like sexual LoJack, okay? Because all you have to do is pay attention to when her vaginal muscles tense. That's when she's getting the most stimulation, and it's right for her. Once you find the stroke, you keep going at the same pressure, the same tempo. And what will happen is, sequentially, as she gets closer and closer and closer, those muscles will get tighter and tighter and tighter. And when she's getting really close, the hips will start to shake, the back will start to arch, but that grip on your 2 fingers is going to it's like she's holding on for dear life in there, but she's not even consciously aware of it. But she's basically telling you through that grip exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it. Here's where things get a little hairy. As she gets more excited, a lot of women start to get more and more vocal. They start to move around a lot, okay? They also start to do really stupid things like harder, faster, harder, faster.
Like screaming that.
Yeah. Don't do it. The minute you change the pressure, the minute you change the angle, you change the stimulation, which means if you're lucky and you get it, you can get her off, but your chances drop dramatically. I can't tell you how many women have come right to the brink of orgasm, and I've done what they said, harder, faster, harder, and they lose it.
So, as always, never listen to what the girl says.
Indeed.
You always want to do what works, not what they tell you to do.
So what you do is you just keep the same pressure, you keep the same rate, you keep the same tempo, and she will come buckets. She will explode.
Okay, and you keep doing that until she orgasms like 2 or 3 times.
Yep. Well, actually, what you do is, after she comes the first time, it's usually real sensitive. So you can do one of two things. You can either change the stimulation, change the spot that you're going for. Like a lot of people focus on the clit because it's there and it's easy to find. Not that they can do much with it, but that gets really, really sensitive. So what I like to do is I'll give her a break, and I'll cup my hand on her vagina, and I'll just put a very gentle pressure on the labia and the areas around there.
Kind of massage it.
Yeah, because I want the stimulation to die down, but I want the heat there. I want her to feel my hand. I want her to know there's going to be more. And then what I'll do is, while I'm kissing her, because I'll have my hand up around her neck, and I'll be kissing her, maybe sucking on her breasts or whatever, and I'll slip my hand down between her legs, and what I'll do now is I'll just start to slip my finger up and in on that G-spot as I'm doing the little pressure with my palm. And again, it's keeping the fires warm while I'm letting her recover. And then I can also tell by the size of her clit, or the size of her clit and how hard it is, when she's ready to go again. And every now and then I'll take my middle finger or my pointer finger, and I'll slide it between her lips, and I'll touch the vagina, and I'll gauge her clit, and I'll gauge the response. And if she jumps, I know she's not quite ready. If she starts to, if she tenses just a little bit, I'll massage it. So, I mean, I can't really describe it on the tape, but if you were just to just rub, almost not even touching it, because you can barely touch it, that stimulation is usually light enough that it feels good without overstimulating her to the point where it says, get your hands off,
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot when you're doing oral sex with women, is that, she gets off, and then just like you're just going the same pressure, it's so hard, and she just pushes your head away because it's too much. So you got to really play with pressures here. The more sensitive, the lighter you have to go. Now, David talks about going really, really hard, at the 1 o'clock position. Okay.
The welcome method.
Yeah. I do find that the 1 o'clock position is sensitive, but I don't have to go real hard to get them off. I can do it really, really light, and they'll just come harder and harder. And what happens is, for some reason, this is one of the fastest ways that I've found to get women who've never had multiple orgasms to give them multiple orgasms, because you just vary the pressure. Once that ball's rolling, you get kind of sexual inertia going, and they just start coming faster and faster with it. But you gotta learn how to gauge where the woman's at. That's the key, is paying attention to her responses. Most guys, and I was there too. The minute they get a hard on, all the blood rushes to that member, and they stop paying attention to anything but that hard on. Learn to put your hard on aside long enough to get this done, and I'm telling you, you will never have a problem with day 2.
Plus, the hard on will thank you, because what you can pull off after she's orgasm a couple times is it's pretty satisfying.
Oh my God! When Major Mark says a satisfied woman will walk through fire, it's true.
And pretty much anything you want to do with her at a certain point is fair game.
Yeah, because all you have to do, because she just knows she's given her experience. Very few women have ever had. Okay, you become the ultimate pleasure object in her eyes.
And knowing this stuff is great too, because when you go out to pick up women, when you go out to meet women and pick them up, going into the situation that you have something up on other guys, that you're not frightened about like where it's happening, mm-hmm. or like where it's going, what the outcome's going to be, because you know that once you get her alone in that bedroom, you're going to be banging the.
And you have her in a bedroom? Oh shit.
Well, once you get her alone, or not even alone in some cases.
True.
Once you get her all to yourself.
Once you get her attention focused on you in all the right ways.
Exactly. Once that happens, then you know where to go. Mm-hmm. So you're, in a way, it helps your confidence. Because mm-hmm. a lot of guys, some of them are concerned about like, oh, maybe their dick is too small, or maybe they think there's something wrong with their dick, or maybe they're not experienced, or maybe they're kind of self-conscious about like how their body looks, or how the mm-hmm. girl's going to respond to them once they're naked together or whatever. All those fears kind of go away once you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have the knowledge to make this girl orgasm multiple times, stuff that almost no one else in her life has ever been able to make possible.
The odds are that no one ever has. And if she has and she's not with him, well, she's either lying or, he traded up or something.
And that's why this stuff is so important, because, having that kind of confidence in your in-game really supercharges your front game. The pickups, the approaches, the attraction phase, stuff like that. That's why a lot of really experienced ladiesmen, guys who are really good at picking up women, stuff like that, they've had a lot of practice with women. They've had a lot of mm-hmm. practice in the bedroom, and that's why, they can pick up women so well is because they have that confidence. They know once they see a girl that they want, that they can pleasure her in ways no other guy can.
It comes out. It comes out in the way you walk, in the way you talk to women. Some women will tell you they can tell a good lover by the way he stands, the way he walks.
Or the way he dances, or the way he kisses, whatever. Women have a lot of different ways of judging a guy.
The really cool thing is, one of the things that they talk about in some books in there is the more sex you have, the more you get offered. Because the body builds up these pheromones because of all the sexual responses that you're having. I remember I walked onto campus one day, and I just had sex with 3 different women over the course of, like, I don't want to say it's 24 hours, but it was pretty close. And I was kind of tired.
Obviously.
But but the nonverbals and the responses I was getting from just the women who knew me on a regular basis was just huge. I mean, I was like,
they could smell the sex on you, I'm sure.
well, I did watch, but literally they can in some respects because the body produces a tremendous amount of sex.
And not only that, but women talk too. They like to share about this guy who blew their mind to all their girlfriends.
Yeah, matter of fact, that's happening to me right now in one of the circles that I move in, because women do talk. And everybody wants a bit of what the other person's getting, especially women are very competitive that way.